everyone, it's Micah. Welcome to a new series that I'm going to be doing on this channel. My idea in creating this channel and the tagline "Make Music Better" is in response to what I've seen as a lot of negativity towards contemporary music. There is a lot of music out there that doesn't sound like music sounded 10 years ago or 20 years ago or 50 years ago. There's a DIY and self-made musician and self-made musical artist type of phenomenon that's been going on, probably exemplified most clearly by Soulja Boy, who, 15 years ago, came out of nowhere and basically marketed himself onto the charts without any real musical credentials. As they say, the more things change, the more they stay the same. What I believe is that people have selective memory about the music of their childhood. There were people who were not musical savants who were on the charts in the 80s, in the 70s, and the 60s. There's always been novelty artists who have come out and done things and made a big splash and made their money and dropped off the face of the earth, or even stuck around and continued making that money without the musical credentials. So I don't think that times have changed as much as a lot of people do. But what I think is that we're making a bigger deal of it now, and we're more sensitive to it now, those of us who have lived through several decades of music. And there's what I call the good old days syndrome, where everyone always romanticizes and idealizes the music that was out when they were in a formative period of their lives, when they first started listening to music. And to me, there's a lack of self-awareness there on the part of music listeners, where they somehow miss the incredible coincidence that all the very best music just happened to come out when they were 15 years old, or between the ages of 10 and 25. Somehow they just magically came of age during the golden age of music. It just so happened to coincide with their youth. And I see this over and over again, where people constantly lament how music isn't what it used to be. In my opinion, in most cases, the variable here is not the music, it's not the world, it's you. You're not in the same part of your life as you were 20, 30 years ago. And you have a different perspective on the music that's out there. And plus, you've had 20 and 30 years to forget about the music that you didn't like when you were coming up and listening to music. And so what you've retained is the stuff that you do like, and you're comparing everything, including the bad stuff nowadays, to the cream of the crop from 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. And so this all sort of aligns to create this incredibly negative space, especially on social media, where people are constantly talking about how terrible music is today. And I am not having any of it. And so that's where Make Music Better comes from. Instead of the admonition to people in the industry and to individual musicians to make better music, which is what I feel like is implied in all of these rants about how music is terrible, what I'm challenging music listeners to do back is to, no, we don't need people to make better music. We need to make music better. We need to have a philosophy of inclusiveness and of giving things a fair listen and accepting the music that's out there on its own terms. Like, what is this music that I'm listening to intending to do? If you listen to an Ice Spice song expecting for her to give you Beethoven, then that's not going to happen, because that's not what she's trying to do in the first place. Or even if you expect her to contemporize it just a little bit, if you expect her to give you Stevie Wonder, if you even expect her to give you Salt and Pepper, you're not going to get that exact thing, because that's not the thing that she's putting out there. That's not the thing that she's going for. And that was a random example of what I'm talking about. Ice Spice is not the subject of this particular video. But I gave that long introduction in order to introduce this series. It's going to be called The Sounding Board, unless I decide to change it to something else later on. But this is going to be my more or less weekly series where I talk about things that are on my radar that are happening, whether it's social media chatter, whether it's something that's just an inert news story, or something that happened and my commentary on it. Then this is the place for that, apart from the reaction videos. Thank you for tuning in to this first episode of Make Music Better, the Sounding Board. And please like this video. If you indeed liked it, please subscribe to the channel if you feel so inclined. And please continue to make music